Coming to you live from Warehouse 23 on the waterfront of the Columbia River. High Five Media presents Give It Up for Hello Vancouver. And now, here's your host. She's part Grim, part Hexenbeast, and part politician, Temple Lentz.
Hello, Vancouver. I'm Temple Lentz, and this is Hello Vancouver, your live talk show about life here on this side of the river. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for coming out to our awesome new venue at Warehouse 23. We are so excited to have all of you here. And we'll just jump right into it. So as of yesterday, we are officially 1 month into the Trump presidency. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it? Roosevelt was the radio president, and he had a huge impact. Kennedy was the TV president, and he had a huge impact. Trump is the Twitter president, and he's been picking fights with girls. So, but you know what? We're getting through it. We're going, and as far as I can tell, the Earth is continuing to turn. Although, since it's basketball season, maybe I shouldn't say that the Earth turns. I don't know if any of you guys are Cleveland Cavaliers fans. Maybe you know that Kyrie Irving thinks the Earth is flat. No, seriously, he talked about it on a podcast. He said if the Earth was round, his bottle of Pepsi Max would slide right off the table. No, I know. Now, to be fair, he did actually say this, but Kyrie came out later and said that he doesn't actually think the Earth is flat. It was a joke and a social experiment. Because not only did people lose their minds when he said this, I mean, they were like, oh my God, he thinks the world is flat. But there were also a frightening number of people who were like, you know, he may have a point. We should really look into this matter. I mean, you know, we can fact check. We can look at our sources. But seriously, there is some science that I'm pretty sure is settled. Of course, you know, we are now in the era of fake news. So why should we be surprised by anything? We now live in a place and a time where the leader of the free world says that any media story that doesn't say he's more popular than Jesus is fake news. Because if the media had the audacity to report a story as it occurs, not as he says it occurs, he has now called them the enemy of the people. But, let's be clear, the free press is not the enemy of the people. It is the people. I'm so glad you agreed with that. Okay. Be like, oh dear. Now at High Five Media, we work with a lot of the press. And one of the things that we remind people is that the press is not there to be your pal. That's not their job. They're there to report. And any of us who have ever been in the paper are probably familiar with the feeling of wishing they'd said something a little differently, maybe a little bit more flatteringly, and oh dear God, could they have used a different picture? Why did they pick that one? Seriously. But the media reporting something as it happened, not as it happened in a press release, that's not bias, it's journalism. And now, more than ever, we all need to work diligently to protect the truth, even when we may not like how it makes us look. I mean, I'm sure that there are a couple of elected officials, some local elected officials out there who would hate to have the press report on the way they talk about their constituents when they think nobody can hear them. But the day that those folks slip and say something arrogant and condescending in public, when the press reports it, that's not bias, that's news. And one of the only ways that we can have productive conversations is if we agree to find the places where we do have common ground and start talking and listening from there. If we start calling everything that we disagree with a lie or fake news, then we don't have anywhere to start. So when our leaders at all levels are failing us because they are failing to inspire, lead, and start productive conversations, well, then it falls to us. From the national level on down to the local, on the Republican side and on the Democrat side, we seem to have turned into a country that only listens to the voices we agree with, and then we try to shout down the voices we don't agree with. And that isn't leadership. I'm hearing more and more people say they're sick of politics. And when they do say that, I ask them, what do you mean? And it turns out, almost all the time, that they're not actually sick of politics. They're sick of politicians who don't listen, of political discussions that are just one side shouting at the other and telling them they're wrong. And I want to be really clear when I say that, when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about both sides of the aisle. I'm actually not spending as much time on social media these days as I used to because I can't stand seeing the people I know behave like this. My friends on the right often will strut and gloat and condescend and tell people, well, you know what, suck it up, sunshine, we're in charge now. But at the same time, my friends on the left, the liberals and progressives, will issue these platitudes and condescensions and call their neighbors and associates bigots and haters without even going and having a conversation with them. And in this particular moment in time, it can seem like people are much more interested in telling other people how they're wrong than in listening and trying to understand. I had, like one person, yes! Everyone else is like,
one person.
I had the privilege yesterday of going to Evergreen High School and talking with a group of students about current events. This group of teens was diverse, articulate, curious, and intelligent, and they weren't honor students. In fact, one had just recently dropped out and was back in school for the first time in a while. And some were struggling with home life and other challenges. And these are kids. These are beautiful, complicated, struggling kids. It has always been hard to be a teenager. I mean, seriously. But right now, oh my God, I am so glad that I don't have to deal with everything they do. Not only are you in the middle of trying to figure out who you are and who your friends are and family and boys and girls and school and work, so many variables, but then on top of that, you're doing it all online, in the public eye, and in a 24-hour news cycle. I mean, holy crap. So it was a real pleasure to go and get to talk with these teens yesterday. I mean, they're smart. They know things are messed up, and they're trying to figure it out too. So one of the things we talked about, I asked them if there was anything they wanted to take back to our community's leaders, because I happen to be in a fortunate position to share some of those messages. And they all had a lot to say. There was one student who summed up what a lot of them had to say very well, and I wanted to share it with you. She said, in today's time, a lot of youth are having untrustworthy thoughts about the government. Police brutality, immigration laws. All I ask is that you listen more to the youth when we speak up. And that's a letter that I just got yesterday. But I'll tell you guys, that's actually a letter from the future. As we all do our best to figure things out in America in 2017, I hope that we will all remember what the future wants us to do. To listen, be open to learning, and to remember that our neighborhood, our country, our world are full of people who look and sound and think differently than we do. But the one thing that we have in common is that we're all here. We haven't fallen off the planet yet. So let's keep it spinning, and let's do what we can to keep it this way for the ones who are coming after us. So, I'll take it. Now, speaking of the next generation, I am really excited about this show because we have an incredible amount of awesome young people in tonight's show. And one of those people is Hannah Lloyd. Yeah! It sounds like most of you are aware of who she is. Hannah plays Diana on Grimm, and she lives here in Vancouver. And the Hello Vancouver team just happened to run into her one afternoon when she was out having chai. And luckily, we managed to capture it on video, so we wanted to share that moment with you. Diana?
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 Oh my gosh, Diana from Grimm?
You are Diana.
My name is Hannah.
Diana, right?
I'm Diana, but I just play her. My real name is Hannah.
What are you doing at Latte Da?
I'm drinking chai.
That is amazing.
Gosh, that is so cool.
Can you levitate it?
Yeah, you can.
No.
What?
What?
I don't that.
Wait. Do your eyes burn when they glow? Right. Yeah. I bet they do.
No.
What? Why not?
I don't do that.
Wait. Like, can you glow different colors?
Right.
No. I can't do that.
Okay, but how about can you transport yourself to Mayor Tim Levitt's house and find out if he has a bathrobe?
Yeah. That'd be so cool.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah.
Are you ready? You can totally just make this levitate.
Do it.
You can do it.
What? Come on.
Can't do that.
You know what? My phone's in my car. Let's go get it.
Can we get like a picture with you?
Picture with you.
Okay.
Awesome.
That'd be so
okay,
awesome.
Nolan, don't let her leave.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll be right back.
back.
We'll be right back. I wonder if she'd go like to the mall with us.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Okay, go.